Hi everyone, and welcome to How to Matriculate at a German University 101, brought to you by Alyssa Eisler. I had initially sat down to type all of this out for you, but it's a lot of information, and quite frankly, I didn't want to spend all the time writing it that it would take. So here I am to talk you through this crazy thing that I had to do when I got here, and that was matriculate. Now, with American universities, or at least my understanding of American universities, once you get your admissions letter from your college, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that they get things done in offices to let the entire university know that you're coming, you're going to be a student, you're going to be pursuing a degree, you're taking classes, you want to live there, and everything that's involved. Well, here, I don't know if this is true of all German universities, but particularly in Tübingen, there's a lot more responsibility placed on the student themselves if they want to become a student. So I got my admissions letter, or rather a copy of my admissions letter via email last December. They were going to hold on to the original one here because I needed it to go through this crazy matriculation process. So I arrived here, and starting Monday, first full week being here, I kind of began how to hunt things down. Stop number one was visiting the Office for International Students, where I met with a woman who gave me a lot of documents and forms that I need to fill out with other people in different offices. She also gave me the original copy of my admissions letter, because that was an important document as well. So from there, I was basically kind of pushed out of the building and said, good luck, get all this done in a reasonable short period of time, and I don't really need to see you until you are thinking about leaving town. So my one person that I could go to get information was already set on being done with that part of her job. Giving me papers was all she really needed to do. So on my own. So with all these papers, my first stop was going to the Bürgeramt, which is like town hall. It's I had to register with the town and let them know that I'm living here, that I am a documented alien in town, that I'm only going to be here for a short period of time, and then I'm leaving. So the original intention was to apply for a short-term visa to live here for 5 months, but since I did not have proof that I had enough money to support myself during that time, I wasn't able to get a visa, so I have a permission slip that says I'm allowed to stay here for 90 days, so through May 31st, with this permission slip that they gave me. In that time, I should go back to the Bürgeramt and get the real visa. That costs 50 euros. And I have to get special photos for that, biometric photos that cost 12 euros, and they have like the spacing of my eyes just so and perfect and crazy. I don't know. So I have to go back to the Bürgeramt, but for now I have permission to live here and to continue my studies here. After the Bürgeramt, I went to a bank and I opened a bank account here in Tübingen. People at the bank didn't speak English, so this was all accomplished in German, and it was quite the adventure. But luckily, students get free checking accounts, so that made it super, super easy. But it's processed to wait for everything. It wasn't immediately open. I received some information about, how to use a bank and all that jazz in the mail a few days afterwards, and I'm still waiting for my debit card to arrive. Hopefully this week. Might not come till next week, which would be kind of a bummer. Kind of a limited amount of cash in my pocket right now, but we can make it work. So with this bank account, once I have my funds transferred from my bank back in the United States, over here I have to get a printout slip that shows that yes, I have enough money to support myself here. I won't be asking the German government to fund my lifestyle or anything at all, and take that back to the Bürgeramt, and then they can give me my visa. Bank account is also important because that's how I pay rent living here in Tübingen. I can't write them a check or give them cash every month. They just draw it directly from my bank account. So very, very important that I have one of these here. So after the bank account, I had to go to another office in the university area and pay my semester Beitrag, which is basically a student activity kind of fee. students here in Tübingen pay 500 euros for an entire year of school, 64 euros for the semester Beitrag, and then another 40 euros for something else that I don't have to pay, but German students do. So for 600 euros, they can have a year of university education. Quite a bit different than the American system. And they complain about the 600 euros. It used to be absolutely free, and now they have to pay 600 euros. So talking to people from the United States who pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for their education, 600 euros is not a big deal. So my tuition payments at Drake cover what would be down here, what kind of learning and stuff I'm doing. I still have to pay the Beitrag from my own personal funds, so had to pay that in cash. All good, done, taken care of. So with the receipt of making that payment, with proof that I have a bank account, with the permission slip from the Bürgeramt, and official copies of my passport and all sorts of other good things from the woman in the International Student Office. Took everything, big stack of things, to the student secretary and basically passed over everything. And she made sure that it was all good. I had cleared everything with all the offices and all that jazz. And then I could become an official student here in Tübingen, which is phenomenal. So that process to get through all the papers takes a little bit of time to go through, but at the end of it all, I receive, or actually everyone who does this receives their student ID card, the Studentenausweis. This is a very, very, very important thing. They told me that it would take about 2 weeks to come in the mail. Since I turned in all my papers, I turned them in on a Wednesday, and that Saturday my ID card came in the mail. Woo, woo, woo! That's great. Usually things take longer here. Germans are big on the bureaucratic process and lots of offices and signing and permission and time and letters and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So the fact that it came in 4 days, pretty amazing. So after that long process, my student ID card. This is like the golden ticket from Willy Wonka. This makes life possible. So with this ID card, I can access the internet in my room. I had to wait for more information in the mail, of course, how to log in and register to everything. It's not wireless internet that's provided by the school. It's something I have to plug into the wall. I can't take my computer around to all sorts of buildings or just anywhere in town. Only in my room, plug it in the wall, and that is my internet for my computer while I'm here. Also, this ID card makes it possible for me to purchase a semester bus ticket, which is a pass that I can use on the buses around town and use them buses to other cities and the train to other cities in a good chunk of the state that I live in. I live in Baden-Württemberg, so I can get around with this bus ticket, which is 55 euros. But unfortunately, it's good April 1st through September 30th. I am here March 11th through August 3rd, so it doesn't totally line up. There's about 3 weeks where I can't use it that I'm here, and that's not so good. But this ID card also makes it possible for me to eat in the dining halls and the cafeteria. They're not as popular of an option here as they are back at Drake. We're not required to eat in the dining halls. You load cash onto your card in an office right outside one of them. There's no meal plan that you pay up front. It's just kind of, if you want to use it, you can use it. If you don't, it's not a big deal. But it makes things very easy, especially when you don't have plates or anything to eat off of to feed yourself. So dining hall is helpful. Also with this card, I can do laundry. In my building, there's about 60 to 80 people living here with one washing machine and one dryer. The dryer broke this week, so that's out of commission. We just have one washer for everybody, and they don't accept coins. They only take the cards, so had to wait for that to do that as well. And lastly, but certainly not least, with this ID card, I can register for classes, which I haven't done yet. I'm not able to do yet until classes are closer to beginning. And the spaces that they reserve for international students aren't really announced until right before anyway. So I don't even know if there's room for me in the things that I want to study, so I had to be pretty flexible with what I'm interested in. I have a lineup of about 12 different possibilities. Hopefully make it into 4 or 5 of them. So we'll see what happens. But that is matriculation. It's done. I've accomplished it. And now I'm waiting for the next part of this school thing to begin. So I hope that wasn't totally overwhelming information. It's far easier to present it in form of a video instead of having to write all this out for you. So there you are.